Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. What will you do if they try to extend the coronavirus lockdowns into next year? We're seeing a massive backlash against the coronavirus lockdowns all over the United States, and it's likely that the protest against these lockdowns will only intensify in the days ahead. But some elected officials are doubling down and insisting that shelter-in-place orders will remain in effect in their jurisdictions for quite a few months to come. I honestly do not know how that's possibly going to work because after just a few weeks, millions upon millions of Americans have become deeply frustrated with these lockdowns. Trying to confine people to their homes for the foreseeable future is likely to spark tremendous explosions of anger, but that appears to be exactly what authorities intend to do in some of our largest urban areas. For example, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio just told Fox News that he expects his city will be shut down until July or August. Wow, that's all summer, you guys. That sucks. Does he honestly believe that New York City residents will put up with being confined to their homes for another 3 or 4 months? Over on the West Coast, California Governor Gavin Newsom recently told the press that there probably will not be mass gatherings in his state until we get to herd immunity and we get to a vaccine. That's bull, in my opinion. Large-scale events that bring in hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of strangers are not in the cards based upon our current guidelines and current expectations, he said. Experts do not anticipate a vaccine until sometime in 2021. Would he really try to keep his state locked down for that long? LA Mayor Eric Garcetti appears to be on this exact same page, and he has already pretty much ruled out all large gatherings in his city until 2021. Los Angeles mayor said Wednesday that large gatherings like sporting events and concerts are unlikely to occur until 2021 due to the coronavirus pandemic, a major blow for one of the world's major sports and entertainment capitals. Considering the fact that the NFL has 2 teams in Los Angeles, this is potentially an absolutely devastating blow for football fans. Of course, it is possible that the Rams and the Chargers could play their games elsewhere, but that's probably not likely. Especially in liberal bastions on the east-west coast, fear of large gatherings is likely to persist for a long time to come. Facebook has already canceled all large company events until 2021, and other big tech firms will almost certainly follow suit. Without a doubt, everyone should be in favor of reasonable measures to help prevent the spread of the virus, but the hysteria that we are seeing in some areas of California right now is off the charts. For instance, Mendocino County has actually banned people from singing in online worship services. This is bogus. The following is an excerpt from their absurd social distancing directives. No singing or use of wind instruments, harmonicas, or other instruments that could spread COVID-19 through projected droplets shall be permitted unless the recording of the event is done at one's residence and involving only the member of one's household or living unit because of the increased risk of transmission of COVID-19. Of course, we aren't just seeing this sort of insanity here in the U.S. Over in Australia, Prime Minister Scott Morrison is seriously considering extending his nation's social distancing measures for many months to come. Australian public life could be constrained for another year because of the coronavirus pandemic. So they're mulling around the ideas of sending children to school in shifts. Australia has so far avoided the high numbers of coronavirus casualties reported around the world after closing its borders, imposing strict social distancing measures for the past month. These lockdowns may be slowing down the spread of the virus to a certain extent, but they're also absolutely crushing economic activity. Thousands of businesses have been either crippled or destroyed, and tens of millions of jobs have been lost in the U.S. alone. Needless to say, business owners and workers all over the nation are sick and tired of not being able to make a living. I'm one of them. And President Trump added fuel to their frustration when he called for several states to be liberated on Friday. President Trump made himself the star of the lockdown rebellion on Friday by tweeting, "Liberate Minnesota," and then adding Michigan and Virginia to the list of states that should be freed. The tweets came one day after President's coronavirus task force rolled out guidelines that would give governors broad power to decide when states' economies would open back up amid the coronavirus pandemic. And instead of waiting for permission, some business owners across the country have decided they're going to reopen anyway. Summit Motorsports Park owner Bill Biter Jr. vowed to start holding events with or without government permission in a Facebook Live post earlier this week. "I'm not asking, I'm opening," he said in the video, and said that he thought that business closures were an overreaction. "If in Huron County, for example, we are able to save every life and limit and ultimately mitigate any outbreaks of COVID-19, but in the process of that we all starve to death, what have we accomplished?" True. If you're not out there being able to make a living and you're staying safe in your house because of the coronavirus, then how are you going to feed your family? $1,200 stimulus check isn't going to feed your family, guys. Sorry. As I have warned all along, Americans are simply not going to have much patience with these sort of lockdowns, and this is particularly true in areas of the nation that tend to lean conservative. But those on the left are pointing out that we are already starting to see a huge surge in confirmed cases in parts of the country that haven't been locked down. No opinion. The bump in coronavirus cases is the most pronounced in states without stay-at-home orders. Oklahoma saw a 53% increase in cases over the past week. According to Johns Hopkins University compilation, over same time cases jumped 60% in Arkansas, 74% in Nebraska, and 82% in Iowa. South Dakota saw a whopping 205% spike. Open restrictions start being liftable nationwide. It's probably inevitable that we will see another huge wave of new cases and new deaths. However, it is important to point out that this virus is going to eventually spread through most of the population, no matter what measures we take. Yes, we want to keep our hospitals from being completely overwhelmed, but we also don't want to completely destroy our economy at the same time. Our policymakers are going to have some very tough decisions in the days ahead, and the truth is this pandemic is just the very beginning of our problems. The months in front of us are extremely challenging because it will never be the same again. The good news is that some of the COVID-19 lockdowns will start to be lifted in the weeks ahead, and that will enable millions of Americans to start making a living once again. But in other areas, politicians are warning that lockdowns could last for many months to come. If the politicians in your state try to do that, what would you do? Okay, guys, there you go. And that was an author, a voice crying out for change in a society that generally seems content to stay asleep. And his name is Michael Snyder. He is a publisher of the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News. So, guys, there's a lot of hype going on. There's a lot of hype. We have been in lockdown for some time now. I have not been able to work. I don't have a stimulus check. I don't have anything coming at me right now. People have to feed their families, okay? And that's all I'm going to say. God bless you guys and have a great day.